What is up, everybody? Welcome back to racenews.com and welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, the real Christmas day for horse racing players, it's always the 26th of December because it is opening day at Santa Anita. They always have big time racing, and one of the biggest races on this card is the La Brea Stakes, and La Brea will be run Saturday, Thursday. I'm used to saying Saturday, but Thursday, December 26th. Race 10 on the card. Let's get it up now. Let's look through it. We've got a strong field this year of 11 runners for this one. Should be a really, really good race. Looks pretty wide open to me on paper. We could see, we could see a lot of different outcomes here. So let's get to it. Let's go through them one by one. We'll start at the rail, and we'll go with the number one, Splendora. Splendora coming into this race off back-to-back, just absolute runaway efforts at a maiden special weight at Santa Anita last time out, 2 races back, and then an allowance last time out at Del Mar. And both times, just gate to wire, runs away from them, never really in doubt. Now, here's kind of the bad news, I would say, of it. Juan Hernandez is not on this horse. Hernandez has picked, conceivably another Bob Baffert runner, Hope Road, to ride. But Joel Rosario gets aboard. Pretty good rider out here when he comes to Southern California. So, I think there is good and bad. At 12-1, I think you could find, worse horses to play. It is a Bob Baffert runner who has 2 just dominant wins in a row. I think you could find worse. Let's put it that way. The number 2 horse is Accuracy. Hey, imagine 2 runaway wins in a row. Again, this one not trained by Bob Baffert, but Michael McCarthy. She gets Rispoli to ride today for the 5th straight time. So 2 kind of good but not great efforts to start the career. 2 races back, wins by 15 at Santa Anita before last time out winning an allowance race at Del Mar by 7 1/4. Really good. Really good efforts for sure, without any doubt, from Accuracy, a horse that, in my opinion, just kind of the light bulb came on. The first 2 races weren't bad, but the last 2 races have just been fantastic. So look out for Accuracy. I think this horse, like I said, light bulb comes on. Kind of cutting back, has 2 wins. We're a 1/16 and a mile. So cutting back to 7 furlongs. I think she'll be able to handle it okay, though. The number 3 is Kinza. Hey, what do you know? Another Bob Baffert runner here. Kinza coming off of a layoff, though. If you were like, hey, Kinza, where do I remember that horse? Well, she started off her career 3 for 3. A runaway maiden special weight win, a grade 3 win, another grade 3 win, stepped up to run in the Santa Anita Oaks, got second, beaten 7.5 at 2-5 that day. But kind of a horse that may be better going a little bit shorter. So we'll see. Cutting back to 7 furlongs here. I think that's where you're going to see her at her best. The problem with Kinza, well, there's 2 kind of problems with her. Number 1, we haven't seen her since that Santa Anita Oaks, which was April 6th. And number 2, didn't get Hernandez as well. This is another one Hernandez had been riding. Johnny Velasquez picks up the mount for this one. That's great. Johnny Velasquez, very good rider, and definitely not a downgrade or anything, but Hernandez chose somebody else. And again, that is kind of concerning when it comes to the Bob Baffert barn right now, because Hernandez is usually on the best horse unless Flavian Pratt's in town. So, all right, let's keep going. The number 4 horse is Sugarfish. Sugarfish going to cut back in distance here after running 5th in the Breeders' Cup Distaff last time out. Before that, did win the Zenyatta, going a 1.16 right here at Santa Anita. Was a winner of the Summer Oaks here at Santa Anita as well, going a 1.16. Those were runaway kind of wins. Stepped up to face older horses than the Clement Hirsch and wasn't really competitive. And of course, the Distaff wasn't really that competitive either. But when facing 3-year-olds here at Santa Anita, has looked pretty good. So cut back to 7 furlongs. This horse did break the maiden right here at Santa Anita, going 7 furlongs, and did it by 10 lengths. So I don't think the distance will be too much of a problem. This is another one. I think there's worse long shots you can play in this spot. The number 5 is Ultimate Authority. This is a horse coming second off the layoff here, was beaten 7 1/4 last time out by Accuracy. So that's kind of the bad news there on Ultimate Authority. Has been beaten pretty easily by Kinza as well. A horse that probably is up against it, probably spotted a little too high. Should kind of improve off the last effort, though. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. The number 6 is Copian. This is another horse that's coming off of the Santa Anita Oaks, believe it or not, 264 days. Copian was a horse that really two impressive wins to start her career. Maiden special weight at Del Mar, won the Santa Ynez here at Santa Anita, going 7 furlongs, and really a nice horse. Tried to go up against Kinza in her next start, her third start, and just couldn't quite match up. Got beat by 2 lengths, and then nowhere to be found in the summertime, or the Santa Anita Oaks, excuse me, losing by 16. I would imagine though something happened in that race, and that's why we haven't seen her in 264 days. So another one coming off a long layoff. I think it's a tough spot to come off of a layoff. I will say if anybody can get them ready, whether it be the 3 Kinza with Bob Baffert or the 6 Copian with Mandela, Richard Mandela, they can get them ready to run off layoffs. They've got great stats off long layoffs. So if anybody can do it, it's those 2 guys. But still, I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. The number 7 is One Magic Filly. And this, I mentioned Flavien Prat a little bit earlier. This is the one Flavien Prat will jump aboard here. Okay, so 3 straight wins before a loss last time out in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Got beat by 2 3/4, finished 6th. That wasn't too bad. I'm not going to hold that against her, but the 3 races before that, winner at Santa Anita, 2 races back in the Chillingworth by 2 3/4, 7-length victory at Del Mar, a maiden special weight victory at Del Mar before that by a neck. So really, pretty good resume here. Even that race last time out wasn't too bad. 7 furlongs shouldn't be a problem. The 3 wins before that loss last time out were at 6.5. Of course, the race last time was 7. So I think this horse looks pretty good. I think she's plenty classy enough to get the job done. And like I said, Frezu has been aboard this horse the first 5 races. Now gets Flavien Prat. That's interesting. That's very interesting to me, especially with all the Baffert runners. And Pratt jumps on this one for D'Amato. So I think that is a big time sign that this horse is going to be ready to rock. This will be a very interesting horse, no doubt about it. The number 8 is Sandy Bottom. Sandy Bottom is undefeated, and I think that's the good news here. Broke the maiden way back in September of last year, and then won a stakes at Santa Anita. Was off 391 days before returning to Del Mar against Allowance Company last time out, and winning by a nose and beating a pretty good horse that we'll talk about here in a second that's also in this race. So, the step up in class is going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. Her speed figures, if you really believe in them, aren't quite there to compete with the top level horses in this race, but gets Luis Saez aboard here. I thought that was interesting, probably because Rispoli chose to ride Accuracy and Saez just kind of picked up the mount, but still pretty good replacement mount to get a guy like Saez. So this is kind of a prove it race for me. I'm not sure. She's quite good enough, kind of like I said, kind of a prove it race, but really nicely bred, pretty good horse. We'll kind of see what happens here. Let's see though if she can do it against this kind of company. All right, number 9 is Hope Road. This is your favorite at 3-1, and I get it. Probably should be the favorite after 4 straight victories in a row. So this horse was trained by John Sadler to start a career. 3 losses, just didn't run very well. Then all of a sudden breaks the maiden when going over to Bob Baffert for the first time right here at Santa Anita. Won by 5.5. Should be noted, One Magic Filly was the horse that finished second in that race. That was One Magic Filly's first ever race. So, Hope Road had the experience factor. Then went to Del Mar, won an allowance by 5.25. Then won the Torrey Pines at Del Mar by 5. And then last time out, won the Bayacoa, which was on one of the Breeders' Cup days out at Del Mar, by a half length. Nice horse, no doubt about it. I think this Bob Baffert runner comes in deserving favorite, has been 3-5, 3-5, 2-5, 1-5 in the last 4 starts. This is the toughest test for sure, but I think 7 furlongs is going to be really good for this horse. And we were talking about Hernandez. Hernandez had been on a lot of these Bafferts. This is the one he ultimately chose. So I think that is a good sign for the number 9, Hope Road. The number 10 is Tamar. And if you remember, this horse was all the rage at last year's Breeders' Cup, as in 2023, not 2024. 2 straight victories to kick off her career. A win at Del Mar, followed by the Del Mar Debutante, just runaway, just a dominant victory. If you remember, the rumors were out going into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies of 2023. She was working poorly. Something may be wrong with her, this, that, and the other. And it looked it. She did not run well. She got seventh, beaten 8.5, or excuse me, 8.25. She got the lead, could not hold it. Now, fast forward 378 days, she came back at Del Mar on November 15th and was beaten by Sandy Bottom in an allowance race. Sandy Bottom was also coming off of a long layoff that day as well. And they were separated by a nose. It was a very close race. They both ran well. But, I think it's a pretty good start. I think she'll run better. But it's just going to depend on how low her odds are. I wouldn't want her at much lower than this 8-1 morning line. That's where I'll kind of leave it with her. So I'm on the fence with her. We've seen her at her best. She's looked great. But will we see her at her best here? That's the big question mark. I do think it's going to set up well. I do think getting in that allowance race under her belt is great. I think this was the plan all along. I think we'll see her best effort. Is her best effort good enough? We'll see what happens with her. All right. Cavalaria will be the last one we'll talk about. The 11 horse, 2 straight victories, and doing it pretty impressively. A 2-length victory on debut at Del Mar, and then an allowance win at Santa Anita by 3.5. Yet another Bob Baffert horse that Hernandez rode the first 2 races, not riding here. Frezu gets aboard this one. Frezu, who was on one Magic Filly, now is on this Baffert horse. 2 nice victories in a row. Speed Figures kind of put her up there with this group. Should be noted that Accuracy was a horse this horse defeated at one point on August 29th in that maiden special weight there at Del Mar. But we kind of talked about Accuracy just didn't seem to have it figured out at that point and kind of has it now. So that's your field of 11. What a group I think this is. I kind of look at it like this. I'm going to go Hope Road to win, the number 9 horse to win this race. I think with Hernandez aboard, not riding the 1, not riding the 3, not riding the 11, that tells me that I think he really likes Hope Road. So I put Hope Road on top. I am going to use Sandy Bottom in some sort of exotics underneath. I think she's very interesting, and I'll try to get one Magic Filly and Accuracy involved as well. So that's what I'm going. So on top, though, I am going to go number 9, Hope Road. All right, guys, that'll do it for a preview of the Libre Stakes live from Santa Anita on Thursday, December 26th. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting opening day at Santa Anita on Thursday.